Hey YouTube, Casey here, and today we're going to be taking a look at some pickups I've gotten over the last few months from Grandpa Clone Customs. If you're new to the channel and haven't heard of GCC, they produce custom LEGO Star Wars clone troopers that are printed on official parts, and they're all pad printed, which is the same kind of style that LEGO uses to print their figures. And so all these figures are basically as if they were real LEGO figures, which is really cool. And while GCC hasn't been going as hard as they really did in 2023 and 2024 when they were just starting out, this year has had some really good figures, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of them that I've gotten. The first figure that we got here is Captain Deviss, who's later promoted to Commander. And if you've never heard of this guy, I don't blame you because he's pretty niche and hasn't really appeared in any real media. But in Revenge of the Sith concept art, Commander Bly was actually supposed to be red originally. And from the Commander Bly concept art that you can see here, people have dubbed this red look as a new trooper who's named Commander Deviss. Obviously, as a big Bly fan, I knew I had to pick this one up, and it looks really good. It's basically just a recolor of some of the Commander Bly figures that GCC has done before, keeping that detail across the torso and arms, having those energy cartridges on the strap across it. It just looks so cool. You also have some nice hip detailing and this comma piece, which is pretty strong and a pretty decent material. And the one thing about this figure that isn't bad or anything, I still like it, but I do wish that it used a different pauldron type other than the printed pauldron with the comma piece on the side, as this one's styled after LEGO's official one just doesn't really look accurate and is more of a stormtrooper type pauldron. As you can see with this Commander Bly figure here, I like this style of pauldron a lot better, and I can't always just swap it out if I really want to, so it isn't that big of a deal. Some extra detailing that I wasn't expecting is that Commander Deviss around back actually has some extra little detailing pieces on the back of his torso print, which obviously wasn't necessary, but it was a nice inclusion for sure. One of my favorite parts about this figure is just how well printed this helmet is. LEGO obviously had a lot of trouble printing on this helmet with the 2/12 one and their 5s figure, but you can just see how refined and how close in together to that middle stripe on the helmet this red printing is, and it just looks so beautiful and just makes the figure look amazing. While I don't think Commander Deviss is a necessary pickup just because he's not a big character, I do really like this figure and they knocked it out of the park. Now this next figure was one that I was really excited to get with this September drop that they did recently, and it is a clone assassin from the Revenge of the Sith video game. In the video game, when Yoda's in the Jedi Temple, he's confronted by 6 of these guys after Order 66, and they use Viro blades, which are basically like these big knives that come out of their arms to be able to fight Jedi, which is just a crazy concept and is super sick. Even ignoring the lore though, this guy just has a super cool design with this really unique, like, purplish blue looking color, and then he also has really unique torso detailing and a bark trooper helmet, which is just a really out there design. You can see just how different the torso detailing is from normal clones, but it looks really good and is really unique, and I also like the yellow detailing on the belt. One of the best parts of this figure though is the arm printing that you can see has the blades printed on the shoulder element kind of, but you can see there's a gear piece printed as well, and I'm assuming that the blades kind of switch down into attack position when they're ready to fight a Jedi. I also really like this comma that's printed also with the yellow detail, which is really cool, and then they've also got this hip printing to kind of finish off the part of it that isn't really included in the normal comma piece that LEGO has. Overall though, a 10 out of 10 figure, which I never thought that they would make. And I think that this one's sold out everywhere, but if this ever restocks, you gotta pick one up. I might be getting a second one. Now this next figure is one that is definitely not niche or anything, and is something that everyone's been wanting for a long time. And this is Crosshair from the Bad Batch in his Republic armor, which we never got in that original shuttle set that LEGO put out. We only ever got his Imperial armor, so having the Republic version fills out the squad and is just really nice to finally complete. Now the best part about this figure is the helmet mold, which is actually a custom helmet that has the holes in the right place. Everyone always complains about helmet holes, and helmet holes are definitely an issue because they're not placed in the right spot, which makes the helmet come off really chunky. But as you can see here, we have holes placed in the right place that allow the rangefinder to be placed with it not looking goofy or too tall or anything dumb. For my rangefinder, I'm going to take the one from the 327th Battle Pack, or the Jango Fett Slave one if you have that one, and I'm going to throw it onto him, and it just looks so good. I just got this set recently, and I'm really happy with how the new antenna piece looks. and it just looks really good with Crosshair here. One thing that this guy has that a lot of the others in the wave didn't have is actual head printing, which is really cool. It has a unique expression for Crosshair, and you've also got that inhibitor chip scar on the side of his head, which is really cool. Outside of that, there's not anything too crazy to say about this figure. He has all the printing details that you'd want, including arm printing and the back detailing, including his backpack, which is nice. But outside of that, again, another great figure that I'm just really happy to get. Now, while GCC obviously focuses on making clone troopers as they are Grandpa Clone Customs, they have expanded out recently into making stormtroopers, which them expanding out into stormtroopers here is a great thing because we're already really scratching the bottom of the barrel with the Phase 2 clones. I mean, we're getting Commander Deviss and the Clone Assassin, which I'm really happy with this wave and are great figures, but you can see my point. These aren't as desirable characters, which this specifically here is the Shadow Trooper, which we've gotten a couple times officially from LEGO, but it's either a very outdated figure or it has that Family Guy Stormtrooper helmet, which if you ask me personally, even though the clone helmet holes are a big issue, I think that Stormtrooper helmet is even worse. It is just so ugly. I know everyone calls it the Family Guy Stormtrooper helmet, and so seeing GCC use the 2014 one just makes this figure, it just looks so good, and I'm so happy with that. You can't see inside the helmet because it is a custom mold. It does have that G logo for Grandpa Clone Customs. And other than that, this figure has a really nice comma piece, which is a little bit bigger than the official one, but still looks really good. And outside of that, you have the design on the torso and legs for the newer Stormtrooper types, which I'm really a big fan of. So mixing that 2014 helmet mold with the recent body just looks really great. And that's personally my favorite design, so I'm happy that that's what they went with. Another beautiful figure that they put out earlier this year is this Purge Trooper figure, which if you don't know the Purge Trooper, he's appeared in a lot at this point, the Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order games, as well as some comics and also the Kenobi TV show. This figure also uses a custom helmet, which again, I'm really happy that they're expanding out to other things other than Phase 2 clone troopers. But this is of course the Airborne helmet, which is really great. And hopefully we can somehow get some 2/12 Airbornes, because I know the official one is like really expensive that came in that Grievous Starfighter set. On the aftermarket, on like Bricklink and eBay and stuff, that figure is just like crazy expensive, so I'd love to be able to get a cheaper way to get it. Other than that though, he does basically just have standard clone armor in black with a comma and pauldron, but the one thing that is really nice about him is the Imperial arm printing, and that white just looks so good. I know that if LEGO tried to do this, it would look really washed like the Commander Fox torso was, but I'm really happy with how, you know, well printed this is and just how well the white shows through on top of the black. Something interesting about the Purge Trooper, which I don't know if this came with everyone's copy, but it came with mine for some reason, is I got 2 sets of additional arms, which I used to upgrade this TIE Fighter pilot, and it just makes the figure look a lot more detailed, but I don't know if that was actually intended to be in there or if they accidentally threw it in, because it's a little weird of an inclusion, and it wasn't advertised in any way to me. One upgrade that you can buy individually though is this Artillery Trooper helmet, and it's just used to upgrade the official set from I believe in 2021. It's like a Mandalorian set. And even though the coloring on this guy isn't completely accurate, which I mean isn't GCC's fault, this is the official figure, the body, the torso, the legs, you know, everything. But the helmet is what GCC produced, and they just matched the coloring on the official one, so you can upgrade it and remove that Family Guy helmet. They've also done this with the Incinerator Trooper helmet, which is pretty sick, but we haven't gotten him officially in any way, and so I am just going to use Deviss's body here as like a example, I guess. And then they've also made upgrade helmets for the current Stormtroopers that we have, so you can get rid of the Family Guy helmets and put the 2014 ones on them. Other than that, though, that's about all I have to say for this review. GCC's released some really good figures over the last few months, but it's way more spread out as they're releasing some alright figures, in my opinion, as well. Which, again, this is just some of the highlights of what I've gotten over the last few months, as I haven't been picking up every wave as I was previously. And there's just been a lot more inclusions recently that I do want to just skip out on because I don't find them as interesting. Still though, stuff like this Stormtrooper helmet makes me a lot more interested in what they might do in the future. And so hopefully we see some good stuff come from that. Again though, I am in no way sponsored or affiliated with GCC, so just wanting to let y'all know that this is a full and honest review. I paid full price for everything. But with that all said, remember that Christ is King, and may the Force be with you.